All right, good morning and welcome back to TwinStick Garage. So old TwinSticks has just been killing himself on this little by little Peterbilt project. And I wasn't happy with the paint. So if you go back a few episodes, I ended up putting on a base coat of nice metallic pearl paint, went on beautifully, and then I only had a gallon of clear. So I put on kind of a light start coat, and then I only had enough to do one more coat after that. It orange peeled on me, and there wasn't a lot of material to work with there because it was so thin. So what I ended up doing was sanding all of that smooth, and then I did a flow coat on there. I actually did 3 flow coats. I put 2 more gallons of clear on top of that. And I mean, it looks really shiny, you can see, but there's orange peel in it. I'm not a professional painter, and you can kind of see it up there. I'm not happy with the orange peel, and I've worked way too long and hard on this truck to just leave it kind of half-assed with the orange peel in it. So last episode, I thought I'd try a bit of a hack. I used that, I am a bit of a hack, but I used that denim pad to try and flatten out the orange peel. I did the bottom half of this door, if you go back to the previous episode there, and it truly did. It did flatten out the orange peel, but it didn't get it to where I wanted it. Plus, I noticed that there was some scratches in there, and I was looking at it the next day, and I'm like, it's not good enough, Mark. You've got to, if you want to do this, you got to do it right. So I decided to rip the Band-Aid off and move into actually sanding it smooth. So I started with 800 grit, and then I moved my way up to 1500, and then 2000, and then I even went to 3000. So this panel here, this square right here, well, the whole side of it has actually been sanded to 3000. And look how sharp the reflection of the lights are. Now this hasn't even been buffed out yet. So this is the right way to go. I buffed this little section out yesterday. I mean, look at that. That's just glorious, shiny, and mint. Now, I've actually got to do the whole truck in that, and I thought I'd do this episode. I didn't want to do another sanding episode and bore you with that, but I wanted to kind of give a demonstration. If you've got orange peel paint in your truck that you painted at home and you want to bring it back the right way, this is how I'm going to do it. So I thought I'd give, like I say, a demonstration in this episode, show you how I do it, and show you how much work it is to try and get it to that 3000 level before a guy polishes it out. It's amazing that 50 years later, All right, so to give you an idea of the process that I'm up to here, so I'm wet sanding with 800. Now, what I've found is dry sanding is a hell of a lot faster. It'll cut down the clear coat, but it leaves these little swirl marks from the DA. So you want to do wet sanding. The nice thing about wet sanding too is you don't have to worry about having dust in the air, so you don't have to wear a mask the whole time. So that's kind of refreshing. So basically what I do is I start sanding with 800, and then when I think I'm done, I get a nice towel here and dry it off. And then as it dries, you're going to see it render into a orange peel, not a mess, but orange peel challenge. And basically it's going to show all the spots that still need to be flattened out. So you can see the light versus dark. So obviously the dark is the valleys in the orange peel. Orange peel is basically just a wavy mountain, and you're trying to knock the tops of the mountain peaks off and get it as flat down to the valleys, which are the dark spots. So as you can see, I still got some more 800 work to do here. Now you really want to take your time with this. You don't want to take off more clear coat than is needed. But again, I've got lots to work with now. I had that one and a half original sanded down, so maybe there was one left or less than one, and then I put 3 more coats on, those flow coats. So I've got lots to work with, so I'm not really too concerned about burn through. But again, to the point I made, you don't want to go down deeper than you want. You want to try and keep as much clear coat and UV protection as possible. So I kind of just, this is an iterative process. I keep sanding it down until I get it all flat. And then, like I say, I move up from the 800 that I got on there now, and then I move to the 15, and then the 2000, and then the 3000. So this is one that I did last night. I mean, that already looks polished, but that's 3000 grit. So, and this is, yeah, that's 3000 there as well. So again, no more orange peel, no more little valleys that are peeking through. It's basically all been flattened out, and that'll polish up nicely. That's what I got to keep doing all the way around. Now, the other challenge with doing a truck, a semi-truck versus doing a car, is these damn huck rivets. I mean, they look beautiful when they're all done up, but it is so hard to try and sand between them and not actually catch the top. Because if you catch the top of them, the paint just comes right off of there. And there's a few that I'm gonna have to touch up. So I've got some of the base clear and some of the clear coat left over. So I'll mix up a little batch in a jar and then just touch them with a little paintbrush and touch them up and then clear coat them after I'm done. See, I've already kind of caught one there. It's really hard not to. So I've got to go from the 5-inch down to the 3-inch, and then I try and just fit between them carefully. And then watch your edges too. When you're sanding, because you get too close to an edge, you're gonna sand through and get that off there. So it's a very slow process. If this thing was just completely flat, I'd be able to just give her and off to the races. Now there's a good example of the orange peel. You can just see kind of the waviness and the roughness around the light. By the time I get this to, hopefully by lunchtime, probably by this afternoon, I'll have this down to 3000, and you'll be able to see the sharp definition of the LED light in the reflection there. So I'll just keep grinding away here. It's like, oh man, more sanding episodes. Yeah, you think you guys are struggling to watch this? Try actually doing it. I have got so many hours on this DA, it's not even funny. This thing actually is held up really well, but I'll probably need a new one for the next truck that I do. And with that, I'll put my headphones on, I'll put my country music on, and then just start sanding away. Good times. All right, getting closer. Still probably 1 or 2 more rounds to get all of the high spots knocked down, and then I actually need to get the smaller sander and go in between all the hucks. See how that turned out. And when you start getting these little swirl marks, again, it's starting to dry out, and as nice as it cuts, you don't want to keep going. You want to get some more soapy water in there and keep this thing wet, because otherwise you're going to get little tiny swirl scratches, and you're going to see them even when you buff it out. So keep it wet as you're going there. And I don't know if this is going to be the last one or not. I suspect not. I'm still seeing some minor dark spots. Now with this stage of the project, you don't want to rush it. If you rush it, you're going to do some damage, and it's going to end up costing you more time and more effort. So it's best just to not be on a, easy to say for TwinSticks, but to not be on a schedule, and just kind of, like I say, keep picking away at it. Yeah, there's still some high spots that need to be knocked down. And I'm never gonna get perfectly around the hucks. That's just gonna be impossible, because as you get closer to the huck, you just risk nicking it. So I just try and get as close as I can with the 3-inch, at least smooth it out in between. It should buff out, and only if you go at the truck show and you go right up to the hucks and go, oh yeah, TwinSticks missed that one little spot there. But from 4 or 5 feet back, it's going to look good. So another round or two of 800, and then I'll switch to 15, and then 2, and then 3. But kind of, hopefully this gives a sense of how much time this takes and how, you know, zen I need to be to actually accomplish this project and get this all flat, because it's going to take, oh, I don't know, probably all in, by the time I get it all sanded down to 3000 and buffed out, I'm betting at least 60 hours. It's probably going to be at least 6 days, I'm guessing, at least. So with that, I'll just keep grinding, and I'll show you again when I get this flat, and then I go to the next stage of 1500. Okay, that took a little longer than, well, it always takes longer than I think it's going to take. So I got it reasonably flat. There's still a couple little pin spots that are low spots, but that's as far as I want to go with the 800. So now I'm going to switch to the 1500, because the 1500 is still going to cut as well, just not as aggressively as the 800. Now, I also want to highlight the fact that I've got what's called an interface pad. So it's a foam pad that goes on your DA, both the 5-inch and the 3-inch. And it allows you to kind of go around corners and contours with ease without actually cutting too aggressively. So you want to make sure that you use an interface pad when you're doing this. And another trick that I do is I keep all of my sanding pads just soaked in soapy water here, so they're wet right out of the gate. So there's the 1500 that I'll go with, and then flatten it out the rest of the way, and then 2000, and then I'll move up to the awesome Trizac 3000. Well, that's a used one there. Where's a newer one? Yeah, that one's a used one too. I've been working hard on this truck already. I should probably throw the used ones away, but these Trizacs, you don't want to know how much a box of 10 of these are. These are stupid expensive, but they do last a long time, and they've got a little bit of their own interface pad going on. So as long as you keep them wet, they do still continue to cut. Well, this isn't really cutting. By the time you get up to 3000, you're already starting to polish. You're polishing out scratches, even the 2000. So with that, I'll move on up and throw the time lapse on, and then show you what this looks like at the end. You probably noticed that the sanding pad was bigger than the DA. So for whatever reason, I ordered 6-inch. I should have ordered 5-inch. I didn't look close enough when I placed the add to cart on the Amazon deal, but no biggie. 6-inch still works, covers a little more ground. So now I'm going to go to 2000 and just wash, rinse, repeat. Now when you're sanding, when you're actually doing this, especially as you get to the higher grits, you don't want to push. Again, I've learned this from experience. You don't want to push too hard, because then you're going to get swirl marks where you push too hard. So now the 800 is the one that's getting it all flat, and then now you're trying to take out the scratch marks. So you're just steering the DA around, and let the sanding disc do the work. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now the final stage is to move to the 3000 Trizac. Now I can only get these in 6-inch, so they can just be a little bigger, just like the 1500, but that's no big deal. Now the nice thing about the 3000 is it's so fine, especially when it's wet, that you can actually go over top of the hucks without worrying of burning through. So that allows me to kind of get in there between each of them. And then this is going to start to bring the shine back. So this is kind of the first stage of polishing. Now, you'll notice that I've just kind of been working on this area, and that's not just for the video, for the demonstration here. It's best to actually, stupid leaky valve. It's best to actually just pick one spot at a time, or one square. And that way you finish it off, go all the way up to 3000. That way you don't miss anything and you don't bite off too much at one time. You get that to 3000, you go to something else. So my next one will probably be this square here. But time-wise, I mean, I'm coming up on, It's, by the time I finish the 3000, it's gonna be 2 hours. I know it doesn't seem like that in the video because you've only been watching for whatever, 10, 15 minutes, but this is 2 hours just to do 10 square feet. So that gives you a sense of how long it actually takes to sand this all, cut this down, especially when you have a little more orange peel than a professional. It takes some time to get it back, but you can bring it back. So even if you do a crappy paint job, not that this was a crappy paint job, but the orange peel just didn't sit well with me. It didn't turn out as well as I wanted to, which, as I mentioned at the start of the video, is why I want to go to this length to try and get it flat and smooth and something that I can be proud of. But this process also works if you've got, let's say, an older vehicle. I might do this with my old 2015 Ford. It's got lots of scratches, car wash scratches, and it's a nice metallic black paint. So I could actually wet sand it down. I wouldn't have to go to 800, but I could probably start at maybe the 2000 and then do the 3000 and then buff the truck out and it would look like new again. Now you want to be careful with the rougher grits, especially the 800. There's probably a lot of body folks out there that are going, ooh, 800 is pretty aggressive. I thought that was a nice compromise between how long it takes to get everything flat and not leave too many scratches. I think a 600 would be too aggressive, but the thing that I've got going for me, again, as I mentioned, I've got lots of clear coat to work with here. I've got lots of thickness. Now, if you just had a factory paint job and you were trying to polish it up, you wouldn't want to go to 800 because it wouldn't take long to burn through. Now, one trick you can do, you can get those little paint depth gauges. Basically, they just you set it on the paint there and it'll tell you your thickness. Now, I don't know, I think it goes to the bare metal, so it's also going to count your primer. But that way you can kind of track how you're doing if you're worried you're going to get close to the base color underneath the clear. In this case, I've got 4 coats. I mean, there's 3 gallons of clear coat on this truck, so I'm not worried about burn through. I'm just worried about getting it flat and getting it polished out. So with that, I'll stop yapping and start 3000ing. Yeah, so that turned out really nice. It's a lot of work. That's what 2 hours of work will get you. But look at the before and after. So there's the orange peel before. And then if you move up here, you can actually see, if I can get the right angle, you can actually start to see the dots on the LED lamp. There's a good example there. So this isn't even polished out yet. It's just obviously just sanded. But once I hit it with the rotary and the DA, this thing is gonna just shine like a diamond. So my plan's gonna be to sand the entire truck down in this same fashion. I wanted to give an example of how to work your way up and fix orange peel and get it nice and flat in preparation for polish. Now I'm probably gonna sand the entire truck down first before I start playing with those two things. Just because as you're wet sanding, you inevitably get runs and spatter and it just sprays all over. So I wouldn't want to have to go back and wipe down an area I already polished. So I'm going to sand the entire truck down in this same process. It's going to probably take me my entire Christmas vacation to get it smooth up to 3000. And then in the next episode, I'll break out the rotary and the DA and show you how you can turn this into shiny. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you learned something. Oh, another suggestion is you're probably wondering why I'm wearing safety glasses. And if you see on there, you see all the spatter. It's definitely recommended to do that because as you're sanding, especially at eye level, you'll be spraying clear coat water right in your eyes. So you want to make sure you wear the safety glasses and the hearing protection and all that good stuff. And yeah, like I say, hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed the episode. See you next week. Well, it may be longer than next week. I may have a gap in episodes just because this is going to take so long. But once I finally get to the polishing, that'll be the next episode. So see you in that episode. Hope you guys all have a wonderful Christmas. Get to spend some time with your families. And yeah, enjoy a bit of a break before we start into 2025. So with that, I'll wrap it up there. Hope to see you next week, maybe the week after. And like I always say, don't ever forget, if you got it, truckers brought it.